Good morning, race fans. Welcome to a beautiful Saturday here at NOLA Motorsports Park. Another absolutely action-packed day. A bunch of qualifying still coming, plus the first race for all three series of the triple header happening here this afternoon. Our USF juniors are going to get another shot to qualify. Of course, we saw the one yesterday, but they're back on track again today to see who goes quick, to see how the grid will set up. When we get back from these messages, we'll have cars on the track, and we'll see who is quick. Who goes P1 for USF juniors?
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah. Road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Me sunny NOLA Motorsports Park. Beautiful day here to get things underway. Blue skies and 62 trackside here in Louisiana. My name is Rob Howden, the voice of this USF Pro Championships, and welcome to race day. As we have qualifying for races 2 and 3 set to roll out here for all the three categories in the USF Pro Championships presented by Continental Tire. And this afternoon we'll go wheel-to-wheel racing for the first time for this weekend's Continental Tire Grand Prix of Louisiana. Hello to everybody tuning in here on a gorgeous Saturday morning. Lots going on, as we know, in the sports world. Our target, the pinnacle for all the drivers here this weekend, is the NTT IndyCar Series. They're, of course, running at the Grand Prix of Long Beach this weekend. Of course, golf fans checking in the Masters as well from Augusta, Georgia. But the future stars of IndyCar racing are here this weekend at NOLA Motorsports Park for a triple header. All three series are here for the first time on the season. As we know, USF 2000 and USF Pro 2000 kicking off their schedules at the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg on the first weekend of March. These USF juniors drivers have been waiting in the wings since the last event last year at Portland. 8 sophomore drivers who ran last year back here this year for a second season in 2025. 14 rookies in the program as well, and it was one of those rookies who stepped up yesterday, and that was Oliver Weldon for VRD Racing, the Andretti Global driver. Qualifying on the pole position, a final flyer on lap number 12 moved him past Leonardo Scorpioni. He was 8th last year for Zanella Racing. This year, definitely a championship contender. And Weldon turning a 1:39.063 to go. About a tenth and a half quicker than the Scorpioni on the final circuit. There's the number 18 there of Rodrigo Gonzalez. He was 5th yesterday. Rodrigo stepping up from the D-Force driver development team last year to go to the primary D-Force racing squad here in 2025. So qualifying with the drivers, getting out onto the racetrack. One of the interesting things about USF Juniors, and first I'll set the stage with how we approach tire allotment for USF 2000 and USF Pro 2000. Essentially, those drivers and those teams get however many races there are, one extra set. So if we do 3 races, they'll get 4 sets. If it's a double header, they'll get 3 sets of new tires. The first official practice session, we normally have 5 sessions on the weekend. The first official practice session, drivers don't need to go out on new tires. They can use a scuff set of tires that either comes from the previous day's open testing event, or in a event of a race like St. Petersburg or the streets of Toronto, we lock down a set from the race before. That'll be your carryover. You're allowed to use that. So you're not going out for official practice on a track like Toronto with brand new tires as you learn the track. A little different for USF juniors. They get 2 sets essentially for the entire weekend practice through qualifying through the 3 races. Only 2 sets of tires. That said, that carryover set that they're allowed to use, not only just for practice. In USF 2000 and USF Pro 2000, that carryover set of tires, you can only use that set during that practice session. A little bit different in juniors. You're able to leverage that set further throughout the weekend, so you can use that set again for any time you qualify. You can use it for a race as well. So they really have kind of 2 2.5 sets to play with. The one, of course, being the carryover. Just getting things underway right now, as I said off the top of the show, 62 degrees is what we're looking at here trackside right now. Maybe 73, 74, a little cooler in terms of the top temp for the day. Yesterday we got up to 80 degrees, and we're expecting more of that on Sunday as well. So a little bit cooler of a day. USF Juniors on track right now for their qualifying session. We'll have a look at the lap times momentarily. But an hour after we wrap this one up, 10:05 scheduled start time, Central Time, of course, here in Louisiana. USF 2000, they're qualifying 2 to set the grids for race 2 and 3. We'll follow that right up with so that next show we have will have both categories, USF 2000 and USF Pro 2000. They'll get their qualifying run in. And then we get a bit of a break. We're back at 2:10 with essentially the start of USF Juniors race number 1. And then a little bit of a break, USF 2000 and USF Pro 2000 getting their first races of the weekend in this afternoon. Let's jump in and have a look who's quick coming out of the gate here. We got that first lap in the books. Leonardo Scorpioni, fastest out lap, 139.688. Fast time yesterday, 139.063. One driver off the racetrack here already. That looks to be the number 9 at JT Hoskins, the J. Howard driver development car, off the track coming through the 8-9 chicane. And you're always hoping for green to checker for these drivers here, but Hoskins well off the track. Everybody trying to get that banker lap in the books here right now, maybe get lap number 2 in. Again, key here for qualifying session number 2. It sets the grid for race 2, and your second fastest lap sets the grid for race number 3. So you need 2 good ones. Just the single lap is not going to get the job done. You need 2 good laps. Not surprisingly, red flag coming out will bring all our drivers back into pit lane, so the AMR safety crew, I was going to say, can go and grab JT Hoskins, but he's been able to get that car refired. He's back on track right now, so Hoskins at that number 9, bringing it back around. In fact, he had not yet got a lap in either, and he's brought the red flag out, so he's going to need 3 good laps, because whatever fast lap JT Hoskins gets here, he'll lose for bringing up the red flag. So when we get back to it, we'll get back to it quickly, because the minute he gets into his pit box, the team will look over the car and we'll be able to go back to green. Again, 30-minute window to get 20 minutes of green flag running in. So the red flag comes out, that stops the clock, so still 14 minutes and 30 seconds remaining. Hoskins back into pit lane after that issue coming through the 8-9 combination. So the big back part of the racetrack, turns 5, 6, and 7. You're on the maybe a lift, maybe full throttle, probably full throttle in junior, all the way around the back there, and then through 8 is the right hand into the chicane, the left leading back. Key 8 and 9, because you got to get through 9 with a lot of momentum. That's the run down to turn 10, one of the primary passing opportunities, hard braking right-hander. So, and I think it's even a better passing opportunity than turn number 1, which is very wide, but drivers have a lot of room on the exit. You don't have to really crank it back around like you do in turn number 10. So a majority of the drivers getting 3 laps in, a number with 2. Scorpioni on top, Liam Loiacono, the Australian, in 2nd. Oliver Weldon 3rd, Joao Vergara in 4th. Michael Succo up into 5th spot. Carol Stout in 6th. Patricio and Rodrigo Gonzalez, brothers currently sitting 7th and 8th. Vito Atola in 9th, and Matan Achatov in 10th. Ty Fisher, Connor Aspley, Hudson Potter, Emma Scarborough, Harry Moss, your top 15. Brendan Cooley currently 16th. Again, he only got the 2 laps in, as did Thomas Nordqvist, Keely Countryman, Lincoln Day, Diego Guillo, Matty Colleran, and JT Hoskins. There's your 22 drivers. So indeed, all drivers back into pit lane. I'm sure the AMR safety crew gets themselves back to position. You can see the call down there. Drivers already firing back up. We're back to green. Drivers heading right back out. I want to say those were the exclusive Autosport drivers that jumped out quickly. Three drivers heading out straight. Here comes the rest of them, the Inter-MS crew rolling out from their pit boxes as well. Front of the grid or the at least pit box allocation, is VRD Racing. Of course, the championship last year with Max Taylor gives them that front spot. And the front pit boxes are that benefit you have from being the point leader coming into a weekend. So if you take over the point lead, not only do you have that advantage in terms of the championship standings, but your team's also going to go to the front of the grid. Again, a Scorpione, Loyacono, Weldon, Vergara, and Succo, top 5. Take a couple of laps here for the drivers to get things underway. And just to remind you, we do have the alternate timeline working. You'll see the checkered flag come out as on the entry into turn number 10. That's the time we'll use for qualifying. We'll use the start-finish line, of course, for races, but for qualifying, to save that extra lap going around, they'll take the checkered flag coming down into turn number 10 and then, of course, head straight to pit lane. There's the number 92 of Brendan Cooley, young driver at Illinois. Did a single race last year in USF Juniors at Road America. A lot of experience in such a short time for young Brendan Cooley, again for Exclusive Autosport, Buchanan, Illinois, 15 years of age. 10th in the Academy Winter Series with a couple of top 6 finishes at Homestead. But he's got a lot of time, as I said, ran Road America, but he's done a lot of what you would expect drivers to do. Racing schools, lapping days. The team, of course, Exclusive Autosport has a partnership with the Audubon Country Club. Brendan's done a lot of driving there, both in the USF Juniors car, Radical cars as well. Did some karting at the Audubon karting circuit. His teammate Kaylee Countryman right with him, one of the 3 young female drivers we have in the program this year. Kaylee just getting into the sport back in 2023, did a bunch of karting both in Phoenix, her hometown. She's out of Chandler. Went overseas, did some international racing as well, a bunch of seat time in the Rush SR car. Did some sports car racing as well, some testing. But again, one USF Juniors race for Brendan Cooley. This will be the first for Kaylee Countryman, as those 2 Exclusive Autosport cars on top of each other, working their way through the racetrack now. Oh, Cooley's going to lose it coming through. Oh, that's actually Countryman. She does a full 360, can get back on. She lost it coming through turn number 9. We picked that up quickly. Kaylee's going to be able to get back onto the racetrack here, but you can see swapping the ends a little bit coming through turn number 9. I talked about how tough it is coming through that corner. Yellow flag flying there. So she went off track, lost the rear end coming out of turn number 9. No red flag, just a local yellow. And this is tough for these young drivers, right? She's got a lot of the grass on the tires. Now she's got to get the mind right. Connor Aspley in the pole position machine going around. There's the number 25 as well. The interim S car of Hudson Potter. Here comes Weldon. Yeah, and Kaylee's just got to settle down, get the refocus and get back at it. That's tough when you have a spin like that. More drivers coming onto the track as well. So a little messy on the opening circuit there. Brendan Cooley didn't go quicker. Weldon now goes to the top of the charts with a 138.283. He's going to try to back up that pole position that he had from yesterday. Lap 12, he dropped the hammer and was able to go a bit quicker than Leonardo Scorpione. They're there again right now. Weldon and Scorpio 1-2. Ron Vergara now up into 3rd. Loyacono in 4th. Diego Guillo, he'll be happy with that. He needs more. It's a long way to go. Still 10 minutes to go, but Diego Guillo, I talked to him after the session, just wasn't really happy with the race car, the balance of it. He was 14th, and Diego Guillo, a driver you know is going to be expecting to be further up. He finished 14th last year in USF Juniors overall, but had a really strong second half of the season, 7 top 10 finishes. That's where he expects to be. Diego wants to be in the front of this grid. He wants to be P5, P4, 3, 2, 1. This guy wants to be in the top 5 and winning races. And I know that it's going to be a really competitive year. We have a lot of talented drivers. The returning drivers we know are going to be strong. Scorpione finished 8th last year in the championship. He was 9th. Vergara was 8th. So both of those drivers coming back. The Rodriguez brothers, the Gonzalez brothers, Rodrigo and Patricio, I'm telling you, they have really changed from last year. And again, that's not surprising, right? That's that first year. You're super nervous coming into the year. You're learning like crazy. I talked to Patricio earlier today. And he said it's kind of like night and day. He just feels so much more confident coming into the season this year, and that's already shown up in the pace they have. Both those drivers, Rodrigo and Patricio, currently top 10. Rodrigo sitting 5th and Patricio sitting 7th. So they're going to be in the fight this year for sure, having done so much learning over the course of the year in 2024. Top rookies, we're seeing Weldon up front. Loya Konos look good. Ty Fisher very strong as well. Brendan Cooley was 8th yesterday. Matan Achatev, super impressive, his development over the offseason. They run some Skip Barber races in the second half of the 2024 season. There's 2 of the Inter MS drivers, Hudson Potter and Emma Scarborough. I mentioned the fact we have 3 young ladies in the field this year, the most females we've had racing in our program in one series. Over the 15 years Anderson Promotions has been doing this program going back to 2010. Kaylee Country, we talked about her already. Emma Scarborough and Maddie Colleran for Zanella Racing. Maddie found some big speed from testing, practice, and into qualifying, dropping a full second in qualifying. She's really on a steep learning curve for sure, but love to see her find that pace rolling into qualifying. Hopefully she'll find some more pace here this morning as well. You can see the bumps coming down to the inside of turn number 10. I'll talk a lot about that when we go racing. Yeah, it's the big opportunity to the inside of turn 10, but as you're getting into the corner inside a driver, wait for that car to unsettle a little bit because it does get quite bumpy in the bottom of the racetrack. Ty Fisher's now gone to the top. A 1:38.029. His teammate 1:38.030. How about 1/1000th of a second separating Fisher and Scorpione on top. 7 minutes to go. It's a 2.74-mile racetrack, but they're all pretty much packed in to about a half a mile. Majority of the field right now somewhere between turns 1 and turn 5. Make that turn 4. So that's kind of leading the group there with Connor Aspley for pole position. The beautiful red, white, and black car. Man, the livery on that machine is absolutely gorgeous. One of the nicest cars we've seen in a long time. Beautiful car there for Connor. He currently sits in the 17th position, the 19-year-old driver. Connor from O'Fallon, Missouri. There's Countryman there on the number 9. Again, getting that mindset back to where it needs to be. Get back in race mode. She's currently sitting in the 14th spot, so she's got right back at it. Yeah, 1:39.5. I think that's the fastest she's gone on the weekend so far. So Countryman, who was 5th in official practice yesterday morning, moves her way up into 14th. And that talks a little bit about the fact that, remember, these drivers are all out here. They got the helmet on, they're racing. But there's always someone in the rear, whether it's a spotter, a coach, a team owner. And when something like that happens on the racetrack for Keeley or any other driver, it's that calming voice that you hear on the radio that brings you back, centers you back to where you need to be. And okay, let's get focused. We discussed what we were going to do. We had a game plan. Yeah, you looped it coming out of turn number 9, but you got back on the racetrack. We didn't bring out a red. We're back at it. So nice to see Kaylee laying those laps down. Loya Kono's now gone to the top. The Jay Howard driver development pilot has gone to P1. 1:37.937. And there you have it, folks. For juniors, we will be setting a new track record here this weekend. Loya Kono, currently the provisional new track record holder, 1:37.976. Liam McNeely set it last year to 1:38.185. So we will, at the end of this session, have a new track record. 1:39.0 for Weldon yesterday. We're over a second faster, 1:37.9. 1:39 flat to a 1:37.9, 1.1 seconds quicker. There's the 17 of Thomas Nordqvist. Nordqvist currently running in the 20th spot, D-Force Racing out of Omaha, Nebraska. 8th overall last year in the Skip Barber Formula Race Series. That program joining us here this weekend at NOLA. Testing yesterday. They'll have practice and qualifying today ahead of a couple of races tomorrow for the Skip Barber program. Loya Kono, Weldon, Fisher, Scorpione, Vergara, top 5. Vito Atala, who qualified so well yesterday but came up just short on the weight, got DQ'd. He'll start at the tail of the field for race number 1, but Atala, his focus is getting right back at it here, going P1 to try to give himself better starting positions for race 2 and 3. It's been a long time since we've had a Finnish driver in the USF Pro Championships. You've got to go back to the early 2010s to Petri Savanto, who raced for Cape Motorsports. Petri actually winning a championship with Cape Motorsports. Went on to run USF Pro 2000 as well. Back then it was Pro Mazda with Team Pelfrey. But great to have Vito with us here this weekend and throughout the season. Camera's still keying on the 17 of Thomas Nordqvist. Loya Kono in the number 6 leading the way right now. All 22 drivers on the racetrack. And again, we often see in USF 2000 or USF Pro 2000 drivers pitting for tires with only 2 fresh sets. You're not going to see that here. There's the 77 of Matan Achatov right there with Kaylee Countryman. That's a heck of a group right there. There's the number 24, Michael Succo, second-year driver out of Birmingham, Alabama. There's the 12 of Diego Guillo as well. Guillo, who was up into the top 5 at one point, P10. He's +4 from yesterday, so I think he'd be happy with a top 10 finish. Diego Guillo, the driver of the Woodlands, Texas. Like so many of the drivers here, a very strong karting resume. A lot of race wins. Texas Sprint Racing Series champion a couple years ago. 2 minutes remaining. Loya Kono on top. Weldon second. Fisher, Scorpione, Vergara. Attila in 6th. Gonzalez brothers 7th and 8th. Cooley 9th. Guillo now into 10th position. But right behind him, Stout, Achatov, Hoskins, Potter, and Scarborough. Maddie Colleran down to a 141.6, another full second quicker for Colleran. One of the drivers from Inter MS backing out. There's the number 98 of Oliver Weldon. Right behind Weldon is Achatov in the 77 for VRD Racing, and the 4 of Carol Stout. Is Loya Kono going to come away with a pole position here for race number 2? Race winner and champion in Australian Formula Ford racing across the different series of Formula 4 down in Australia. It'll be a great debut for Loya Kono. Can he put it P1 as 1 minute remaining? We saw the last lap heroics from Weldon. Where are you in terms of potentially getting a tow? That's one of the big things here. Not a lot of downforce on these USF Juniors cars, limited horsepower as we know, so if you can get the tow, if you can place yourself correctly and get that tow from the driver in front, it may help. Weldon right behind, I believe, Guillo in the number 12 Zanella machine. Does he get a tow coming down the straightaway? This will be the last lap. They've all come across that alternate timing line going into turn number 10. 25 seconds remaining. So this will be the final lap for everybody. Still Loya Kono on top. Nobody else making big moves up. Last lap, I believe. Now the quickest lap, last lap by for Harry Moss. He's able to go up to 18th. Colleran went quicker again, so those are the 2 drivers that went faster. Weldon backs out of it through turn number 2. He's going to check up here. He's right behind Countryman and Guillo. Guillo's going to go to the inside on Countryman into turn number 3. They go wide on the exit. You can see the different line there. Weldon's going to go down to the inside, so none of these drivers here are going to get better laps now. That's going to be good for Loya Kono, because if you're giving up at the inside and not running a full race line, there's no way you're going to lay a lap down that's going to go P1. So Liam Loya Kono, the Aussie, may come away with it here. Hopefully we've got a bunch of people watching from Australia. Once again, we've had so many great Australians who have been part of the program here. Big run down. Lockie Hughes, of course, winning the championship last year. Again, lots of Aussies have come up to be part of the action here over the years. This is Diego Guillo and Oliver Weldon. Weldon's going to try to tuck to the outside. They're going to go side by side into the checkered flag. That's not going to work. Brendan Cooley goes quicker again, but he is 8th, 5.67 for Cooley. He goes quicker on the last lap. He gets between the two Gonzalez brothers to go to the outside of row number 4. You see the checker flag in the back part of the racetrack. Everybody coming through for that last lap. Liam Loyacono, 137.976, and not only will it be pole for race number 1, or race number 2 rather, it's also a new track record. So here's what we have right now, because I've got both lap times in front of me. So obviously Liam Loyacono, pole for race number 2, new lap record. Second will be Oliver Weldon, so he'll be on the pole for race 1. He'll be in the outside of the front row for race 2. It'll be all Zanella Racing on row number 2 with Ty Fisher and Leonardo Scorpioni. Ty Fisher with the fastest second lap, so the rookie at this point grabs the provisional pole for race number 3. If anybody goes quicker than their in race 2 than their race or their second lap from qualifying, they're able to use the fast lap from the race if it's faster. But a 1:38.038 will put provisionally Ty Fisher on the pole for race number 3. So again, it's Fisher and Scorpioni, 3rd and 4th. Vergara and Attila on row number 3. Gonzalez and Cooley row 4, and Gonzalez and Gio on row number 5. 137.976, the new track record for USF Juniors here at NOLA Motorsports Park. The first of 3 qualifying sessions in the books. Qualifying 2 still to come for USF 2000 and USF Pro 2000. 10:05 start time for USF 2000. 10:45 start time for the USF Pro 2000. That'll be one continual broadcast here on the USF Pro TV YouTube channel, or whether you're watching on the mobile app. But again, Liam Loyacono, impressive out of the gate for Jay Howard Driver Development. He goes P1 ahead of Weldon, Fisher, Scorpioni, and Vergara. Our day is underway. 5 more sessions still to come, 2 qualifyings, and the first race for all 3 of the series as part of this USF Pro Championships ladder program that feeds drivers into the Indy Next Series and, of course, on to the NTT IndyCar Series as well. Thanks for tuning in this morning, folks. We're going to be back. What time did I say it was? 10:05, so call it an hour. We'll be back on track here at NOLA Motorsports Park, qualifying 2 for USF 2000. On behalf of everyone from Anderson Promotions, my name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.
He's over.